Hi, everybody. My name is Janine Ellsworth, and I'm a human design analyst and consultant, and I coach parents and families and individuals who are looking to uplevel their personal development journey and understand how to step into their best self and use their highest potential. This is a bit of a diversion for me. I typically do not come on and do videos like this. This is because frankly everything is glitchy, and so I just was like, I'm gonna hop onto Zoom and use my recording and hope it works because I think Mercury retrograde has me just completely everything is glitching. So we're not even in Mercury retrograde yet, and that's actually part of what I want to talk about today. This is going to be a little bit of an offbeat version of our family forecast, which I haven't done in a couple of weeks because, frankly, I've felt completely overwhelmed and inundated and, um, frankly, destabilized by what's happening in our country. So, as a bit of a foreshadowing, if you too are feeling completely blindsided and angry and furious about what's happening here in the United States right now, please huddle with me and know that I'm with you and you have my full support. If, on the other hand, you're glad about what's taking place, then leave because this is not going to be your thing, and I'm going to be discussing some issues about our current situation and the people who apparently are running the show here that you will probably find to be offensive or distasteful. But I'll just be presenting what I see in my analysis through the human design lens. Um, some of you know me from the Daily Vibe. Others, I have had a whole slew of new subscribers to the Daily Vibe lately, even though I haven't published there in a couple of months. And so, welcome. I'm so glad to have you on board and to have you recognizing the value of tracking the sun transits day by day, which is what I did for over a year from November 23 through J January of 25. I tracked all 64 sun transits through all six lines of every gate in the human design system or in the 64 keys of the I Ching. And I wrote about those in the Daily Vibe. And I have since effectively retired from that, but I'm using that body of work in what I am presenting now in a more of a family friendly lens. It's not even family friendly through a parent focused lens, I should say. Part of the reason I do that is to use this tool for parents because I think so many of us as children were frankly shortchanged. We grew up in a world that did not necessarily value children's voices, and certainly we did not have, our parents did not have this tool of human design, which combines ancient spiritual teachings that were frankly buried, and now it couples it with modern quantum physics, uh, as well as human biology and evolutionary science. And I believe we're under threat again of having knowledge and wisdom quashed and buried, and we're still fighting the witch wound. These were ancient techniques and spiritual frameworks like the I Ching and the Kabbalah tree of life and astrology that people, healers, um, leaders of groups relied on to guide their people and to guide themselves that were then supplanted by patriarchal systems. So don't even let me go there. The purpose of today's video recording, and I will post this in the Daily Vibe since there are some new folks on board. I'd love for you to see this, as well as in my current publication here on Substack, which is Parenting for a New Paradigm, in which we discuss ways to support ourselves as parents so that we don't live in our lowest vibration and then have that rub off on our children, and so that we can help our children and we can understand their human design traits and how they're hardwired to express energy. So we can just support them so that they can naturally be the best version of themselves while we heal ourselves and peel away the conditioning and the bullshit that we had to go through, that our children have a better chance of like not taking on so much conditioning because they're we're supporting them. We're letting them be who they came here to be. Okay, so sorry, I had to make sure I was still recording because I just don't, this whole, all my electronics have been so wacky. We're good. So the family forecast, I'm gonna blow this up because I've been consuming a lot of astrologers' content in recent, I mean always, but in the recent weeks, given what's going on, and so many of my favorite astrologers, they're all saying March is just fucking bananas. March 2025 is just crazy. And I frankly, like, I have followed astrology from a very like novice level since I was 11 or something years old. And I never learned what like the different degrees mean and the conjunctions and square this and like I don't understand what all that means. I don't even know what the houses mean, frankly. When I came upon human design and I discovered, I mean, that it just like it clicked for me so much more than I've ever been able to like grasp astrology because it was generalized, right? Like I can hear traits about like I'm a Cancer sun and I hear traits about the Cancer sun and I'm like, okay, yeah, like certain parts of that really land, but other pieces I'm like, not so much. I don't know. And then when I learned though that in human design, it's the 64 gates make up their little shades, little slivers of each of the zodiac signs, and that all the planets transition from all through all 64 of them and through the specific six lines of each 64, each of the 64 gates. That's when it really clicked for me to say, oh my God, this is so specific. We can get so granular. We're not talking, like, for example, the sun is right now we're in Pisces, right? We're in the Pisces sign. Pisces means a lot of things, right? Oh, it's water this and it's fluid that and it's flowy, yeah. But like right now, we're finishing up. The sun is finishing up its transit in gate 22. I'm recording this on March 12th. It is a Wednesday at lunchtime in the East Coast. Tonight at about 7 p.m., 7:15-ish or so, East Coast time in the United States, the sun will transition out of gate 22. It will have finished its 6-day spell in gate 22, which is, by the way, the gate of grace, one of the Piscean energies. Um, and I discussed that recently, so I won't go over that. But we're transitioning into tonight, gate 36. Gate 36 is the gate of crisis. Okay. It is another Piscean energy. So there are like six pieces of the pie in Pisces. And for 6 days, well, maybe five, excuse me, about five. And five pieces of the pie, and they're each a gate. And so we're at gate 36. Gate 36 is going to take place for 6 days. And this is very granular. And each of those days has its own personality, its own shade of crisisness within the Piscean energy. Okay. So I want to give you guys that is such a small piece of this though, because we're talking about March being this bananas month. And this week in particular, I'm noticing a lot. And so I really wanted to dig my teeth into this and really absorb it and really be able to synthesize it for you, what all the planets are doing at this time, given the context of what the shitstorm we're going through here. So I'm going to blow it up. This is going to be big. Maybe take some notes. I don't know. Or sit back and just go, oh my God, this is why. This is why. That's what I love about human design is because it answers why. The biggest questions that I've struggled with through my existence that were so much about like, why do people be this way? Why are people acting this way? And this explains it. So, I guess I should start by saying that when any, all the planets are doing different things, and they're all right now positioned in the sky with respect to where we are in such a way that we are being influenced by a certain kind of energy frequency. Because and that's one thing I can't answer why is like why do planets have personalities and why do these energies happen? I don't know. Consciousness, the origins of our existence, God, the divine, Gaia, I don't know. I don't know. But they do. And these are they as they move around, sorry, I'm very handsy. They they emit certain frequencies and then we are affected by them. The sun emits a frequency that is the most potent. And so that's why when you're born on a particular day and you take your first gasp of breath, there are energies floating in the air, even in the hospital room, that are emitting onto the earth and giving you, imprinting you with those frequencies. And so when you're born, like I was born in July and I'm a Cancer and I have those traits because of the position of the planets. Okay. So what's happening this week? I'm talking about the between March 13th, 2025 and March 18th, 2025. And here's a spread of what's taking place. As I said, the sun moves out of the gate of grace, which is highly emotional energy. It's really, really moody. So if you've noticed that lately, that's why. Into the gate of crisis. Now, don't freak out. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have a crisis or that there will definitely be a crisis. But this is the energy for being able to turn anything into a crisis. There is, maybe, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a lot of things up that I can share with you guys. And I will hopefully, all right, this is kind of my, oops. Okay, so let me just find gate 36. This is my behind the scenes stuff. Okay, it's the darkening of the light. All right. Gate 36 is this knowing that there is the ending of something is coming. It is very highly aware of cycles, that there's a beginning and there's an ending to everything. Gate 36 has a tendency to get emotionally dark about the ending of something. Unless you can use that wisdom to say, wait a second, there can't be darkness without light. If it's always dark, how there needs to be contrast. It's constantly pushing for a new cycle. It's I should say I'm being careful because when you connect this in a channel, it connects to, oh gosh, do I have that one open? It connects to, I don't have it open. Um, gate 35 in the throat. So gate 36 lives in our emotional solar plexus. And give me a second. I'm going to find it. I'm going to open it. Um, I want to be able to just have it visualized for you guys. All right. Here's, by the way, Volodymyr Zelensky's chart. All right, I'm going to show you on here. This is where gate 36 lives in the chart. He does not have this one defined in his chart. But I'll tell you who does. I tell you who does have it defined, the gate of crisis, someone who could make it a crisis in anything. This jackass right here. Person who's alleged to be running our country. All right. It's a little blurry. 36 is in the emotional solar plexus. It's like someone who can say, I'm not gonna let this end until I've gone down every rabbit hole and figured out everything that I can know about it. Um, and then maybe I'll let go. So it can have a bit of like a dog with a bone, or like playing like with a rope toy when I'm like pulling on it with my dog and she will not let it go. It's like if you cannot embrace change, if you cannot embrace the fact that lightness is coming after you let the darkness go, then you're going to have a problem with this. So if all of us right now are being, hold up, I'll go back. As I mentioned, 36, which is the gate of crisis, that knows that it's like dwells in the darkness. It just wants to like be in the darkness, unless it can embrace the fact that there is light coming. The cycle is going to start anew. There is something we can let go of the past to let something new take shape. 36 is like, not yet, not yet, not yet. It is connected up here in the throat to gate 35, which is its counterpart. And it's like they're playing tug of war. 35 is the gate of change and progress. It wants to move forward. It's like, forget this. This is over. I'm bored. Let's push past. Let's go through to the next thing. Let's have some fun here. Let's mix it up. Let's change things. Right? And so those two are constantly pulling at each other. Together, they create the channel of transitoriness, or what's also known as the jack of all trades. My husband has this channel. He is the jack of all trades. He does all the things. He will go down every rabbit hole to learn things so that he knows all the tricks and tools and tips and secrets and resources. He's also a line one. But he's also very much like, let's do her, let's get it done, let's do it. This is a really common channel, by the way, that we see in manifesting generators, okay? So linking the throat to the emotional solar plexus. So let's not overlook the fact that gate 36 is really, really rich with emotion. And there has to be emotional awareness if we are going to be able to move forward from a place of like hitting the reset button, stepping forward on the right foot, letting go, making room for what's coming, allowing something new to come in, allowing the lightness in. Never mind staying in the stormy darkness. What's the point of that? Have you ever, I'm sure you have, had a night of terrible sleep where it's just 1 o'clock a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. is like what I hear people saying. It's the worst, like darkest night of the soul, especially when you haven't slept all night already. You've already missed so many hours of work. Now, I get up at 4 a.m. almost every day. So I kind of like 4 a.m. It's my quiet time where I just like have my coffee and put my salt lamp on and I do some breath work and I do some meditation and I let myself wake up slowly and maybe do some journaling and then I just get right to work and it's quiet for like a couple hours before people start waking up and I have to make lunch and get the kids out the door, whatever. But it's like sometimes you just cannot wait to like turn the light on. If you're stuck in the darkness of the night and you just want to like give up and turn the light on and be like, forget it. The night is over. Like the morning is done. Let's just like get the day started. um that's kind of like what we got to like snap into, and I think that that's perhaps some of what the sun is asking us to do this coming week. So we're going to go through all 6 steps, all 6 days or lines of gate 36 over the course of the next 6 days, obviously. We're going to try not to make a crisis out of everything. We are not going to obsess. We're not going to hold on, even though a new cycle is beginning. Um, we're not going to resist change. We're going to be aware of our emotional situation, of our emotional circumstances. We're going to be self-aware. We're going to try anyway, right? We're not going to give in to boredom. We're not going to create chaos just to stay, uh, just to spice things up and just to piss people off or just to cause problems. We're not going to do that. No, we're going to wait for emotional clarity and we're going to tune into our surroundings, into the cues taking place to know this is over and something new. So something new can begin. I want to take a moment again to go back to our alleged president's chart and just let you know that, whoa, hey, gate 36 in the third line, 36.3, if you can see that up there, I'm like waving my little hand around. That's in the placement of his unconscious sun position. And the sun position again is like a huge part of who we are. It makes up this is a huge piece of our personality. This is more on the unconscious or design side, you see. It is subtle. It is more, and it's deeply buried in us. Like we know it's there, but it's more like I compare it to like our operating system that is always running in the background. Like, but we don't turn our laptop on and immediately say, I would like to open Microsoft Windows now. No, we go immediately to our apps, right? Like you see on my screen right now. I've got Zoom open, I've got Word open, I've got Chrome open, I've got all these other apps open, I've got 65 million tabs open. Those are what I compare to our personality side, which we're always using. Those are like accessible to us and we're aware of them. There are things that we have outwardly, people know us as this, and this is how we think about ourselves. But this stuff on the design side is like is deep at the core of who we'd be. And they're driving a lot of our decision making and a lot of the way that we see the world and a lot of our perspectives and who we believe, actually who others see us as more than we realize it ourselves. So as as someone who's apparently the leader of the free world for now anyway, we won't be that for a long time, for coming soon. The 36.3 as his unconscious son is like, this is a huge piece of him, of this person who um is potentially afraid of change, not willing to let go of the past, um not willing to like step forward to let the light shine. Like doesn't want the night to end, almost prone to boredom and anxiety and obsessing and creating chaos on purpose. All right. Here are the lines, by the way. And if you by the way were to order a personalized report from me, this is like what you would get. This would be contained in your report. Okay, if this is one of your gates, you would get this stuff that I'm giving you a glimpse at right now. So here are the 6 days. I won't go through each of them now, but notice whether you see this theme popping up in your own life or in your family's life over the next 6 days from March 13th through the 18th. Emotional determination and perseverance. I said I wouldn't go through them all, but I'll just give a little quickie. Um, Perseverance and emotional awareness to push forward into a new cycle. Um, the ability to support other people, to show real empathy when it comes to crises and helping other people get through something because maybe you've been through it before. That's the second day. On the third day, so I guess we're looking at the 13th for 15th, we're looking at the power to let go of the past and start over from scratch. So that's what Donald Trump has the potential for, but is he using that? Literally, and this is a literal quote, word for word quote from the old texts that I lifted out of the it's either Richard Beaumont or the IHDS resources page, but I think they're direct translations of the old I Ching. This 36.3, which is Trump's unconscious son, a huge part of who he be, it's called the ability to establish a new order out of the ashes of the old, the emotional depth to endure crisis and embrace change. So the guy who's Make America Great Again and just wants to go backward, I would say, from a objective standpoint, so I'm not that objective. I would say he's not utilizing this power and he's for the highest good. I would say he's not living in alignment with the highest vibration of his design. Just me. All right, but listen, we've got all right, I'll finish. Okay, 36.4, that's the fourth day. This is strangely enough, accessing hidden knowledge to plan for a crisis. What the hell is that? Okay, that is legit what it says. Um, 36.5, and that will be on the 17th. Uh, this is the survivor, the ability to make it through any crisis unscathed, whether you started it or not. Um, and that's the high vibe expression, okay? On the following, let's see, on the 18th, that's the sixth day, is when we step into the role model phase of gate 36. Um, Rightness always survives. And God, I hate the pun there. I hate the pun that right always survives. Faith in the truth that darkness always destroys itself. It's like letting yourself kind of spin out is warranted here. Like having the sensation of emotional crisis is like not, it's okay. It's warranted. It's justifiable because we're all witnessing so many things going wrong. So it wouldn't be off brand or it wouldn't be anything to blame you for if you were um, feeling like, yeah, there's fucking chaos. There's chaos. So bring this down into your family life. Um, just try so hard to be patient, especially with your children, because everybody in the world is under the influence of this right now. And you know what they're doing to the Department of Education right now, it won't have an immediate effect, but I'm sure with all of the children who rely on who have IEPs, the like disability rights things, they're being gutted. And already so many people have lost their jobs. And so, of course, we're in a fucking crisis. Like, it's just too timely, right? We can't ignore this. But this is a theme that's going to come up again. Okay, so bear with me while we're in this position where the sun is beating down on us with crisis, how can we ground ourselves? We can look to our own design. You don't have to fall prey to all of these influences of the planets if you know yourself and you know your design and you know what gifts and energies are active in your body. And then you can say with objectivity, compartmentalization, and healthy boundaries to say, ooh, that isn't me. I do not have gate 36 defined in my chart. If I start spinning out in crisis mode, oh, I know I'm under the influence of the sun's rays. I know that I'm feeling this way now because of the energies in the air. Frequencies are happening that are making me feel a certain kind of way, but that's not the real me. I know that's not me, and I'm not going to let that take me down. That's one way, because there's tons of ways. And follow me, because I've been saying for months now how to stay grounded and learn yourself, your own stuff, without being turned upside down by what's happening in the world. Use your own design. But also, what else helps us is that the Earth's positioning in the sky right now, in the big dome of cosmic juju, whatever, is is positioned in gate 6. Well, what's gate 6? This is going to come up later too. It's the gate of conflict. How do we ground ourselves in conflict? Well, I'll tell you. Gate 6 is also known as the gate of friction. And it is very much like Mother Earth. Let me find it. Because this one's going to show up later too. Because gate 6 and 36 are a theme. They're showing up everywhere this week. So that's why I want to make sure you guys have access to this. All right, gate 6. And now gate 6 is very Virgo. Pay attention because this is where our full moon lunar eclipse is going to be happening early morning hours of the 14th is going to be in gate 6. Okay. So this energy for now, which we can sort of ground ourselves in, is establishing healthy boundaries around who and what we allow into our personal space. When we break this down to brass tacks, gate 6 is really about literal creation. It is the feminine receiver that is penetrated by gate 59, its partner. Where did I put that? Gate 6. See, he doesn't have it either. I don't have that open. Okay. Gate 6 is also in the emotional solar plexus, and it's right here on, well, this is Zelensky's chart again. He does not have this one. But if it were connected at all, it would be connected over here to gate 59, which is the gate of sexuality, or the gate of, yeah, the gate of sexuality, and it's a very penetrating. This is 59 is like the male energy. It's like the sperm is coming over here to fertilize the egg, which is at 6. 6 can either put up a little bit of friction, make that sperm cell really work for it, or it can let it all the way in, or it can say, oh, hell no, you ain't coming in here. So gate 6 decides who gets access to us, to you, to me privately. Who do I let in? Gate 6 people, I find, can have really, really rigid boundaries. They can be very hard to befriend or to just to get into. But that's like, it's okay. Like that's normal for them. They can work on that, like they can understand like, oh, maybe I don't need to be quite to build such a big wall. Um, that's a good question. Does Trump have it? Of course he does. Yeah, Trump has it. He has the full channel. Now that's the channel of mating. The channel of mating, literally. So we're talking literal procreation energy, but we're also talking about, in the generic sense, bondage, bonding, unions, who with whom we decide to collaborate, who we decide to partner up with. Um, what are the rules? That's not so much rules. That's a different gate. Scratch that. It's about whether or not we are going to share in this agreement of caretaking and creation. Gate 6 is very much a mama bear or a tiger mom kind of energy. So you can, on the one hand, you can be fiercely loving and loyal and just totally here for your babies and to protect and nourish and nurture and to fiercely be devoted to your family and protect them at all costs. Or you can be on the flip side of that, that's say that's like the high vibe expression, right? On the sort of lower vibe expression, it's more of a critical, dominating, domineering, commanding and demanding that you have to show up this way if you're going to be, if you want my protection, and you have to live up to these ideals. Um, you don't deserve me. Um, do you see what I mean? Okay, so when I say that this is where the earth is and we can ground ourselves in this energy because we're under the influence of crisis over here with 36. Gate 6 says, I'm gonna use my discernment and my healthy boundaries and my awareness of what's going on and what's trying to penetrate my aura. And I'm going to decide to build a really safe bubble around what I let in. And I'm not going to let everything come in and tear me down and make me crazy and turn everything into a crisis. We're not doing that. Okay? Needless to say, um, because of these positions, and they're always partnered up, right? Like this. Um, Gate 6 is also Donald Trump's subconscious, unconscious sun grounding energy. But I don't know if he exercises that. Um, what is his personality sun and Earth gates over here are a whole different conversation. And I do not have time for that today because we have a lot more to talk about. And I'm probably already like 45 minutes into this. Okay. Let's move on to and incidentally, the Gate 6 conflict and gate 36 are going to be paired together. They'll both stay where they'll be moving through this paired couple of energies through the 18th together. Okay. Um, Incidentally, this is funny. Also, the North Node, which is what we're all moving toward collectively. Now, on a personal scale, your own, if you look at your chart and you look at your North Node, there, that's if you have your chart in front of you, it's this thing that's like an upside down horseshoe. Okay. Um, with like the luck draining out of the bottom, which the Irish are, you do not do that. But it looks like that. That's the North Node, and that's on your personal chart. That feature, whatever number is there, it represents what you're moving toward in life. It's the thing that, like, especially after you're about 40, becomes like what you're going to master later in life, a lesson you're here to learn and use. The South Node, which is beneath that, which is the horseshoe in the proper positioning for the Irish folks so that your luck doesn't drain out and stays in there. That's the South Node is what we're moving away from. So what you kind of go through a hard lesson you learn in your earlier years and that you pretty much have figured out by the time you're 40. So it should be in the past for if you're a grown adult. But as a collective, if this is something we're moving toward, our um our North Node right now is, guess where? In 36. In frickin' 36. So it's something we're trying to work toward is mastering this crisis, not creating chaos, recognizing that despite the darkness, morning always comes. The light, sun does rise. Uh, that sometimes we need to go through this dark night of the soul to allow for a new dawn. Gosh, isn't that poetic? You can't make this stuff up. And because they're always a pair, the South Node, what we're moving away from, then is this conflict, gate 6, boundaries, having unnecessarily harsh boundaries, keeping others out, or preventing intimacy, preventing bonds, fighting against unions, keeping others out, criticizing, being demanding, um, causing. Uh, it's saying that we're only going to protect you if you meet these demands, kind of thing. I mean, shit, like you can't make this stuff up. So as a collective, we need to process through that. I want to bring this up now. This is a good time for this. The North Node and the South Node will stay that way for quite a while longer. So just get used to that. We will be constantly trying to move toward the light and away from this darkness. That's what we're aiming toward, and away from creating unnecessary conflict with people. Um, except If you feel like you've been being pushed through a portal lately, I feel like every morning when I wake up, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I was just like smushed through the birth canal all over again. Um, it might have something to do with this lunar eclipse coming up. Now, again, I'm not an astrologer. I don't have a full grasp of what the relevance of a general lunar eclipse is. I understand that eclipses are portals. I understand that something's being darkened out. The light of the moon is being uh shielded, or the other way around. Yeah, the light of the moon is being shielded. Um, and that it is time to let go of something. So this is all happening like it's being echoed. Oops, excuse me. It's being echoed by the gates that this particular lunar eclipse is going to be taking place in. Now, it might be relevant for you to understand that the moon changes positions, and thus it emanates a different frequency in the sky, in the air, and down upon us every couple of hours, like every 2 hours. And so if you don't like this, that's something that would definitely change in your human design chart if you don't have your accurate birth time. So that would be something that would, whatever gate shows up there for you would be variable if you're not real sure about your birth time. So that's something that would be different. Given that, my research says that the official lunar eclipse takes place at 2:55 a.m. the early morning hours of the 14th, which is this Friday. So early morning hours of the 14th, the moon transits, wait for it, gate six. Gate six in the second line. Let's go back there. So we can see, and I just did this. Yeah, okay. So gate 6.2. So what is this portal we're stepping through? What can we let go of? The south node is in six. The earth is in six. The lunar eclipse is in 6.2 to be specific. So not just this energy for the mama bear for establishing or not establishing a union, or allowing our fertile soil to have something planted in it. It 6.2 is, and I'll just read what I wrote this morning, and this is my interpretation from the old texts. It's the sensitivity and awareness required. The sensitivity and awareness that's required to detect and emotionally exploit the weakest point in a conflict. What? Okay. Without emotional maturity and healthy boundaries here, you walk right into conflicts totally unaware. So the high vibe side of gate 6.2, that the eclipse has us being pushed through this portal, emotional awareness, sensitivity. Think of the sensitive, self-aware Earth Mother who can take her position as a femme, as vulnerable by traditional standards, and use that to sniff out the weakest point in this conflict. What are the cracks in the foundation here of what's going on? How can we use our emotional awareness and our healthy boundaries and our maturity to not fly off the handle and lose our shit and fall into a heap of tears and a puddle of sadness, to avoid conflict and to weaken the other side? I don't know. That's one interpretation. There's a lot to think about there. There's a lot to think about there. So I think, I think pausing to reflect on where your boundaries are, what you allow in, who you allow in, who you're willing to partner up with, what agreements for union have we made with others on a collective scale or on a very personal, private scale that have perhaps uh, become troublesome? And how can we leverage whatever is the weak spot to grow from here? Hmm. Okay. I'm gonna check my notes here and we're gonna look. Oh, right. On the 15th. So okay, so that was the lunar eclipse on the 14th. And then on the 15th, next Saturday, Mercury goes retrograde. We're already feeling the effects of the Mercury retro shade, which is just this, this lead up. And I heard a really cool description of like so that we can understand what an actual retrograde really actually means. Because is it that the planets are going backwards? Not exactly, not literally. This is a phenomenon that happens, and and the best way to describe it is like if you're driving on the highway. Let's say you're sitting in the back seat. You're in the passenger's back seat of a car that's moving, and let's say that's one planet. Um, and you're kind of side by side, and the next lane over is another car, and you guys kind of like at one point, one car speeds up, and so it looks as though the other car is drifting behind, is the going backwards. If you're like just looking out the window, it's like they're looking backwards, except they're not relative to where you are. It's because your vehicle is moving faster. But then maybe that car speeds up, and so whoa, then now you're moving backwards from their vantage point. So that's if you think about that, that's kind of where we get this idea for retrograde, and that's a way you can think about it. It's like you're looking out the window, and it looks like that planet is falling behind because when they're passing each other when as they're transiting, moving through the sky, they create this frequency as they're passing each other, and it causes this illusion that one of them is moving backwards. So this is really mind-bending now, and I'm opening up a whole can of worms. So I'd love to hear people's thoughts. Venus is already retrograde. It has been retrograde in gate 17, which is the gate of opinions. I'll go there too. But Mercury goes retrograde um, on Saturday, the 15th, and I don't have an exact time. So when you wake up Saturday morning, just know that Mercury's retrograde. And with all the good things that they say about Mercury retrograde, like okay, electronics go glitchy and communications can get tangled up and don't sign contracts and maybe don't make any big purchases during a retrograde. Um, yeah, so all of that counts, but specifically, Mercury goes retrograde beginning beginning on the eve of it, so the 13th to when I post this, the 13th, it's going to start in gate 21, which is the gate of control, and that's in gate 21.1, gate of control, which is very much a resource manager, and very much it can be very controlling and hyper controlling and micromanaging and concerned about making sure everybody gets what they need, um, but also kind of a miser. uh, but it starts there, but then it moves backwards. So it goes then on the 14th into, I'm sorry, on the 15th, it goes into, I said that backwards. I said that backwards. It starts in 17, the gate of opinions, and then slowly goes backward into 21. Ah, sorry. Stays in 21 until, um, no, I did say it right. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. My notes are, I can't read my own writing sometimes. 21.1 on the 14th is where it starts. And then it goes retrograde on the 15th. And we do a redo day in 21. And then it shifts backwards. And on the 16th, we're back into gate 17, which is the gate of opinions. Sorry. So Mercury going retrograde, beginning with the gate of control and then moving into the gate of opinions, where it stays for a few weeks. And we'll talk about that when it changes again. Um, so gate 17 is really the one that we want to focus our understanding on. And gate 17, again, gate of opinions. But this is about like certainly people who have this energy in their human design chart are definitely people who are very free with sharing their opinions, and they tell you a lot of times about what they think you should do, and you're doing it wrong. And this is all I think. They could speak oftentimes that like that they know that they're right, and they're always right, and they're going to be right, and their opinion's better than yours. That's low vibe, obviously. In the high vibe, though, this person understands that when they're sharing an opinion, they're kind of gathering support for a new way of thinking. Can we all get around this idea that it's not okay to, do voter suppression anymore? Can we all just like rally around that idea and like move forward with the new opinion that that's fucking wrong? Um, it's that kind of thing. We're guiding others to a new understanding. Um, Associated with the right eye. It's visual energy. It's connected in a channel to gate 62 through the channel of organization. Gate 62 is always asking, what's the point? Why do I do this? Let's get all the details together. I need this to be logical, um, as an aside. So that's how those two come together. This organizational gate 17 is organizing all of these mental thoughts and this mental pressure and all of these different perspectives, and it sees in its mind's eye the right thing to do, and it's offering its opinion so that it can gather general consensus and get other people to like gently come on board and come around to the idea of accepting a new opinion. Okay? It's an opinion, it's not fact. That's what we are going through bit by bit by bit with this Mercury retrograde. So, as they often say, when Mercury is in this position of going quote unquote backwards, we have a obligation and an opportunity to review, revisit, refine, reframe, and fix potentially something that went wrong before. Where the last time we went through this gate 17, which was when we were in Aries, and that, hold on, let me just, oh, that would have been like April, right? Goodness, there it is. So last time we went through this, well, when the sun was there anyway, was last March. What did we get wrong last time when we were spouting all of our beliefs, and we were spouting all of our um, opinions and getting people to believe certain things, and when we were trying to get people on board and to come to a new understanding? What did we get wrong? What could we review now and do differently this time around? Um, because potentially now we can, and this is what we're here to express, like we're here to communicate. We're communicating a new opinion about how we're going to move forward. We have got to right some wrongs. We have got to see with our mind's eye all the details of to organize ourselves in a way that leads to something better, that doesn't create confusion and conflict and crisis and chaos. Do you understand? I think this is really powerful. So if you want to sit and journal on something, potentially, this Mercury retrograde is a good place to do that. I mean, there's all kinds of great journal prompts in this forecast, but with crisis and conflict and control showing up, and how we're going to formulate a new understanding together as a collective. Uh, all of that together, I think, is really something really worth sitting with and thinking about. Um, and incidentally, just since we've been doing this already, who has gate 17? Trump does. And where is it in his chart? It's his Mercury. No, I'm sorry, that's his Venus. His Venus is opinions in the second line. Do I have this one done? I don't have. Oh, I do have them done. Yay! Negotiation in relationships, demonstrating high morals and alignment that attract quality relationships and fuel your ability to evaluate and arrive at ethical opinions. Are you fucking kidding me? And then in the low expression, the 17.2, which is Trump's uh, Venus. Watch out for overexpression of criticism, such that you wind up alienated and alone. Can't make this up. Like I said, Venus is in retrograde also in gate 17. And Venus is, by the way, where Mercury is what we're here to communicate. Venus is our what we value. How do we value opinions? How much do we value opinions? And how important are they? Whose opinion are we going to value? Who are we going to listen to? Who's got the idea for the best um, mental structuring of how we're going to move forward? This is all like, whoa, give us it's a do-over. We're getting a big do-over here. Like, holy smokes. Who was I believing before? What opinions was I sucking in before and that I believed that maybe I have another chance to right that wrong and think a little more critically, perhaps, free of conflict and free of chaos and free of crisis. Um, so those are the places that I saw coming up as repeats. Um, at the same time, Mars is finally stationed forward. That we had a retrograde recently, and that's finally over. So we're balls to the wall, starting over with Mars being resembling what our passion and aggression is, for new beginnings. Gate 53 is where Mars is, and that is going to be there till March 21st. Um, yeah, 53 is beginnings. It's again, it's this cycles. It's all about cycles again. So when we talk about the sun in 36 with a cycle ending and us like digging into the darkness, um, Mars is like, yo, let's go, let's start something new, right? And I know we all feel like we're ready to make progress and get this new phase started, but here we are, like still in the depths of the darkness. So it'll be interesting to see what happens through this sun transit, actually. And I'm looking at my calendar on the wall, after the 18th. Because then after that, the sun moves into gate 25, which is the spirit of the self, and it's associated with Christ. Uranus. Uranus has been in gate 23 for some time. Gate 23, I'll say Uranus is our potential for revolution. Everybody's talking about revolution right now. And so, what the heck does that mean in this context? 23, oh my goodness, 23 is the gate of assimilation. And I'm rubbing my face because this is forget even what it is of mine. But I have this one and it's a tricky one. Um, it is the energy for um, breaking down something complicated and overwhelming and synthesizing it down to its littlest parts. Now, here I'm trying to assimilate this energy forecast for you guys, and I don't know if I'm doing it justice. I might be making it more confusing than it needs to be, because that's one of the low vibrational things that unintentionally and unconsciously that we gate 23 people tend to do. Um, it is very individualistic. It has an interesting way of deciphering information, and it is here to express, it's in the throat, and it's here to express these like quirky ideas in a way that other people can actually latch onto them and understand and make so it makes something that's kind of ethereal and out there and like a weird concept and put it into words that average everyday people could latch onto and could really understand. And so there's a potential for really being quite the wordsmith, being a little bit avant-garde and leading, being able to lead the charge with like new messaging, you know? Um, with Uranus being in 23.6 in particular, and this one is about, oh my God, it's about, did I close that tab? Hold on. No, I didn't close it. 23, what did I say? Um, God dang it. It's, see, I have to always check. I'm checking like, wait, what is it? It's Taurus. It's Taurus. So let's go a couple weeks into the future here. There it is. Okay, so Uranus is and this is my storyboard collection, my library of resources. So um Uranus has been in 23.6 for quite some time and it will continue to be there because it's a huge planet and it's way far away from us. And so we don't, the transits, it just relative to where we are, like we're not seeing it move a lot. So it stays in this position. And it is legit called fusion. So representing our potential for revolution, what makes us weird too. But this is what causes humanity or us personally to be able to rise up and fucking change something. And it just so happens that 23.6 is that frequency for us available to us right now. This generation of people, right now, who we are, we, the people of the world, have the potential to use fusion. And you can take that to mean any kind of fusion you want. The bonding together. Oh my gosh. Just getting like, and now I'm like thinking about gate 6 and the bonding and the intimacy and the creating of partnerships and collaborations. Here's the definition from the old texts of 23.6, where Uranus, our potential for revolution, is right now. The gradual attunement of diversity through synthesis. Okay, you guys, this is why I did the daily vibe, because this language is so arcane and it is like heady and it makes you like, what the fuck? Like, what does that even mean? Exaltation in the highest expression. 23.6 is used as the exponential growth of energy and its power of assertion engendered by fusion, or the individual knowing which brings diversity to synthesis. All right, so you have to kind of go back, and I'll try not to be too loquacious. The irony of this is just killing me. Um, when I started talking about 23, gate 23 being assimilation, and it's about breaking down a complex concept into manageable parts to be able to deliver, um, to sort of siphon away the shit and give people like the bottom line, the nugget, the gem that they can take with them and go, oh, I got it. Okay, good. it's often about these taking these concepts that people are like, I'm not ready for that. That's too weird. That's too new. I can't jive with that yet. I'm not ready to hear that. A big part of 23 is being saying things too prematurely, saying them before the right or before the wrong, in front of the wrong audience, telling people that aren't ready to hear. It's like I have had years of rejection trying to share human design with people that are not spiritually ready or self-aware enough to be able to allow themselves to be confronted with this material. People who reject ancient wisdom as voodoo and woo-woo and ridiculous. And so screw them. I shift away from trying to talk to them and I talk to you guys now who are open and ready and you can hear it. And I thank you. But that's for all of us. This goes for all of us right now, where some ideas have been dribbled out that were just too soon. Bernie Sanders, you know, um, I saw a clip of Frank Zappa talking in the night in like 1980 the other day. Um, Essentially it's telling what is that called when he had like a premonition of saying like what would happen and it's happening now. um I just remembered I gotta go get my dog. um anyway, 23 is really about like taking these avant-garde, progressive, a little bit out there ideas and holding and shaping them and putting a little bit of a spin on them so that average people can grasp it, getting like little pieces of diverse information and diverse thinking. Diversity of thinking is what we're synthesizing when we fuse together lots of different cool ideas and we make them understandable for the collective. That's our potential for revolution. Guys, this is all about messaging. All right. In the low vibration though, if we want to totally miss our chance to have a revolution, here's what the old text says. Let's botch this if we do this. The principled but futile withdrawal from fusion that leads to atrophy. Individual knowing that holds on to diversity but loses its power in expression. So it might be uh, refusing to bond, refusing to create unions, refusing to um, let go of uh no. See this, I have to do this exercise out loud. I didn't like synthesize this totally with a spin of Uranus on it. Um Ahead of recording. I was so frustrated with my recording equipment and my all my glitching. I just went for it. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about though, so we'll wrap up in a second. Um Knowing that your ideas and these complex subjects that you're trying so hard to communicate are worthy, but letting go of like trying to get people to understand, just giving up. So I think I've been thinking this just like on another line, like my activism is kicked up so big right now. Like I really am like inspired to I'm thinking to myself like should I like not be doing human design stuff right now? Should I just like go volunteer for some voter rights advocacy group or something like that? Because I'm like really impassioned about what's going on right now. But I'm strongly feeling that it's gonna really center around messaging, effective messaging, and to see our democratic leaders, many of them just failing us and not being able to craft the message. So there are a certain few who are really good at it, and we need to be able to give them the microphone and get the old guard out of here. That's my opinion, though. Opinions. Who are we gonna pay? You don't have to listen to my goddamn opinion because what the heck do I matter? Um, All right, you guys, I'm gonna wrap it up there because I've been going on and on and on. But I hope that that gave you a kind of a broader perspective on the family forecast because I usually only do the sun transit because that's what's so powerful. But I thought it was really important to get the whole spectrum and go to all the planets and get their granular specific gates for you. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up and I'm gonna not do any editing because I'm not doing that because who cares? Thank you guys so much. If you have questions, if you have comments, please share. You can reach me anytime at my website, JanineEllsworth.com. And yeah, Substack. Find me on TikTok. I'm still having fun on TikTok. It's not gone away yet, but I'm cranking out videos over there, and I've been adding videos to my YouTube channel as well, and that's under Parenting for a New Paradigm. But you can always holler, say hello. I'm just a lady. I don't have a huge following. I don't have a whole bunch of people chasing, banging down my door. I don't have, you know, I'm just a lady. So holler and say hi if you want. Really, really great to have this opportunity to present this to you. I hope it was informative and useful, and I wish you all the best. Thanks, guys.